You were born in the UK, raised there your whole life. Okay.
Yeah. I was born in London. I've moved around a bit in the UK, but we settled here in Portsmouth. I've been married to Ali for 22 years this year. I've got 2 older sons and a young daughter. And yeah, I know what you want to say. I don't look that old.
No, that was all, no. I just saw Ali. She's right here on Facebook Live. Hey, Ali. So I didn't know who that was earlier.
No, not that Ali.
That's
not
different
that
Ali.
Different Ali.
Sorry, Ali.
Different Ali. Sorry, Ali.
She sees it. He sees it. So tell us also about where did you find yourself, or let's say, where did God find you when you were being called into worship ministry? How were you led there? What happened? And how long have you been?
It actually happened in the year 1990. And I went away at the beginning of the summer to a camp down in the West Country, part of the UK. And I made a friend down there who was part of the worship team. It was a small family Christian camp, and I made a friend there who was playing guitar on the worship team. And so I thought, I want to learn to play the guitar as well. But the moment I got back from that camp, my family just went through a complete upheaval. My parents separated and kind of things fell apart. And so that at the beginning of the summer, for me, my way of kind of dealing with that turmoil was to kind of sit in my room and play the guitar, learn the guitar. I borrowed an old Songs of Fellowship music book that had all the chords in the back. And so I found all the songs that I knew, worked out what the chords were, and just sat and played the songs. And it kind of, it was around that sort of time I was at church one evening. We had like an evening meeting, and I wasn't totally connected into church at the time, but I was watching the worship team that was playing in our church, watching particularly the guitarist, because I was quite interested in guitar, and I was watching them play, and it was just this kind of strum, 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 me, strum, me, strum rhythm to every single song. And I remember watching it thinking, I can do better than that. God deserves better than that. And I know that's arrogant to a degree. I know it's not necessarily the right kind of inspiration for getting involved in a worship team, but it kind of motivated me to think, you know what, the church, God deserves better than just this kind of bland style of playing. And so that I spent the summer learning to play the guitar, and I sat down with one of the worship leaders at our church, and he said, why don't you just come along and start playing on a Sunday morning? So that's kind of how it happened. And then I went to a youth conference. It was like an end of the week meeting, and people were being called forward to kind of say, I want to serve God. And I just felt, do you know what? This is something I want to do. I want to serve God. I want to give my life to serving God. And I had no idea what that involved. I didn't know then where that would take me. I thought it might be music in some way. I don't know. But and then I just kind of got into serving at church, and I served every week. And week by week, I served at church, and that's how I kind of stepped into ministry, really.
Yeah. And how long has that been for you?
In all, about 26 years.
90, since the 1900s.
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
All right. And then tell us too, how were you led to Christ? I mean, that's thanks for sharing that about your family. I have a very similar background as well. So was that God used that pivotably in your life to bring you to him?
We were a Christian family, and we've been going to church. I've been going to church since the day I was born. Well, not obviously the day I was born, but you know,
right.
But so we were raised in a church-going family, and but I do remember back in 1984 we went to a big mission in London with Luis Palau. I don't know if you remember him.
Yes,
yeah, the Argentinian evangelist. So he was doing a big mission in London at one of the football stadiums there, and we all went along. He was kind of preaching actually at the end, you know, one day Jesus is coming back. Do you know whether you're going to be here still after he comes back, or are you going to be taken away? And I was thinking, well, my family will be taken away. I don't really want to be left here. And so I went forward. was scared into the kingdom.
The fear of separation. You know?
Yeah, that's what it is. It's powerful.
That's right. No, that's great, man. And now tell us, like, so you're the worship pastor of your church,
Yes.
or worship? Okay, and
Yes.
tell us about your worship team.
Well, obviously, with six kind of main sort of family congregations, we've got six worship teams, and I oversee those teams and support the team leaders in the congregations. But my main focus is in our sort of main Portsmouth congregation, which is the largest congregation in our church, and we have a team of around 15 to 18 people, I think it is, something like that. I should know really. And we tend to have around 400 or so come on Sunday mornings, and our team it's a decent sized team. We have a group of singers. We have a couple of electric guitarists, bass, drums, synth and piano. I'm on acoustic. Yeah, it's a good strong team. I mean, where we are now, I've been the worship pastor here for 6 or 7 years, I think it is.
Wow.
And taking it from where we were just 2 congregations to where we're now 6 plus a couple others, and really we've grown, and our influence as a church has grown. And so my kind of commission as worship pastor was to build the worship team to a place where we can minister at a level that's beyond just a small Sunday morning congregation. And yeah.
Right. And so, I mean, for 400 people in the UK, that is considered a very large church.
It is, yes, yeah. We're one of the largest on the South Coast. There are a lot of other bigger churches in the UK, but you know, we're one of the largest around here.
Right.
But yeah, generally speaking, a church in the UK will be around the 100, 150, and that's a decent size.
And you know, in the States here, it's pretty much the same. I mean, the average church now is about 100. I remember 15 years ago, it used to be 250, and now that number is shrinking. But getting back to your ministry environment, you're having to balance now your own local team and also other multi-site teams. So how do you balance that leadership among all of them?
For me, it comes back to vision. And that's certainly something that when I first took over, that was the most important thing for me to implement for a growing team, is to get vision right and then keep speaking that vision out time after time after time after time after time, because each congregation that we have is unique. Some of our smaller congregations have smaller worship teams. Also, we're a larger congregation. We have a larger worship team. Each of the teams have varying levels of musical ability, vocal ability. So each team is different. But what I found to key for all of that vision is clear for all those teams. Everyone on the team understands vision, understands what our purpose is. And from that, you can kind of develop culture and the expectations that we have as a worship team. And from that, people understand their purpose and their role within the team. And even if they don't have the same skills sets in each of the congregations, they can still build a strong team with what they have.
Great. So what are some of your focuses in that vision?
Well, our vision is this, it's to carry God's people into his presence and to carry God's presence to his people through character and creativity.
I love that.
And for me, that it sums up that we are more than just musicians and singers, but and we are more than what we do on the stage on a Sunday morning for 20 minutes. We are worship leaders. We are leaders on and off the stage, and it's built upon our character and it's enabled through our creativity. And if we as worship leaders, if we're not developing a character where we can carry the presence of God, then what we do on the stage is just kind of entertainment, really, what it comes down to. And so for us, we're looking to develop people who serve on a worship team and who serve selflessly, but they're people who carry the presence of God daily and bring that into their worship ministry. Yeah.
I love that. So what do you do to encourage your team on a week-by-week basis about these values?
What we have our team nights. In fact, our team night is tonight on Tuesday night, And what I aim to do on our team nights is, as well as the rehearsal, is we have a team time where we'll sit down and either I or our MD will share some thought that in some way we can kind of put vision into it. When I took over, what I also did was each week when I'd email out the set lists and the lineups and all that kind of thing, I would write a thought into the email that would kind of share just some kind of aspect of vision, some kind of aspect of this is how we do what we do, this is why we don't do that, this is why we do this, and just put that in a team email, and then, excuse me, sometimes share it on a team night, and some of our other team leaders would share that at their team nights as well, and just week by week, just speaking a little bit out, a little bit of vision, a little bit of clarity, a little bit of this is how it works, this is what we believe, this is why we do this, this is how you can implement this vision into who you are and what you do.
Wow, that's fantastic. And that's a lot of responsibility as well to maintain, I mean, 6 campuses and your own, and to coordinate these people. So with that, God inspiring that vision in you, what keeps you going? Because a lot of worship leaders want to know that, I think, because every week they're looking for the next thing or what's fueling their fire every week so that they can speak into their people. What fuels your fire every week?
The thing that fuels my fire is just this, I can't shake, no matter how tired or exasperated or frustrated I get, I can't shake this vision and desire to see God's people worship corporately. That I can't, it won't let go of me. And so even when I'm just kind of feeling like, oh, you know what, I've had enough. You can sit down and then you just start, no, I've got to keep going. I've got to keep going because it is something that that God puts in your heart and kind of nails in there, and you can't walk away from it. I can't walk away from it. So whenever I'm going through those kind of seasons where it just feels like dry, and you always have those seasons, and it's sometimes it's good to have those seasons because it's in those seasons that God is kind of bringing you closer to Him so that He can put freshness in you. But it's in those seasons, it's just I remind myself, I can't let go of this. I have got to see people worshiping corporately. I can't walk away from this.
I love that. And we're having some of your friends comment right now too. Jason Keeping, and
hi Jason.
So Jason's watching. So is he a team member of yours? So that way, whatever you say, Jason can help counter that. Is that right?
No, he's not a team member. He's in a differerent church, but he's a good friend.
Okay, but he knows your church, so then he can report.
Yes, he does. Yeah. In fact, his parents are at our church, and a few of his cousins.
one big family. Yeah. So I think what you said just a minute ago. I love you. You said the dryness. A lot of worship leaders encounter worship artists alike, songwriters alike, pastors alike, encounter that dry season, and they don't know. This is where doubt comes into play. This can be when things seem like they're falling apart, like what you're just explaining to us. So how does one get out of that? I mean, what do you do spiritually to call on God for help?
Well, it comes back to your relationship with God. I mean, without that, then you have nothing, and you have nothing to come back to. And so your relationship with God is paramount and foremost. And when things are not working right, when you're up against stuff, you have to come back to just you and God, and you looking to God, not for the answer for those things, but just looking to God, just to know Him and to be with Him. It's actually one of the things we were talking about at our Empire conferences just this weekend, is the desire to know God aside from everything else. You could walk away from your worship ministry, you could walk away from your church, but you could not walk away from God. It's coming back to that place, and it's having the courage to not do other things so that you can make the time for that relationship and for that freshness.
Yeah.
Because God is a God who promises to refresh us every day. His mercies are new every morning. So it's not like God's going to, well, do you know what? We'll maybe come back tomorrow and we'll see. No, if we'll come close to him, he will come close to us. It's a promise. Right. You can bank on it. And so whenever you go through those seasons, it always brings us through those seasons. And it's because he wants us to keep coming back to that place where we're just coming back to him and drawing from him all the time.
I love that. Wow. Well said. Thank you for that. And, I know when I look at our worship team, I could be seeing the team as a whole in a dry spell. And I know you've seen the same within your team too. So let's talk about what are some of the challenges that you see your team going through?
Our team at the moment is it feels like it's in a good place. In that musically, we're strong, and spiritually speaking, we're strong. But always, I spoke this out to our team a few weeks ago because we're kind of reviewing our expectations and that kind of thing. And one of the things I spoke to them is what I want to see for our team is that anyone in our team can get up and speak about worship and talk to someone about worship and help someone understand about worship. And they do that not just through the things that they say, but just through the way that they live. And so I think that the challenge for us, certainly in this season, is to just greater maturity, growing up in Christ, finding that place where what we're doing on the stage is just a part of who we are, an expression of our worship life. Do you know what I mean? It's developing people, it's growing people to be people of God, and not just worship musicians, worship singers, worship leaders, but strong people of God.
Right. So tell us like a for instance that you've had where you've encountered the face palm, where you mentioned something to your worship team and it didn't go over very well, or something that's happened in your ministry and you just went, what would that be?
Oh, that's a good question. I can't think of anything off the top of my head now.
That's because there's nothing wrong with them.
Yeah, absolutely. There's absolutely nothing wrong. Everything is good.
But it's easy to think, this guy's from the UK. It sounds like he's, doing a lot of great things. I mean, how could anything go wrong? But that's so far from the truth, right? I mean,
yeah. But the reason why I can't think of anything off the top of my head is because of what I've been doing over the last 6 or 7 years in sowing vision and speaking vision out into our team. And I haven't been doing that every single week. And I know I can look back on times where there have been periods when I haven't been speaking out vision. I haven't been sharing stuff week to week. And it's at the same time, our team is just kind of like, drifting along. And it's those times when I have been speaking out vision, have been sharing my heart with the team. That's where we've kind of been experiencing growth. And I think that there are always going to be problems. And I see on Facebook loads of times people who talk about their teams and the issues that they're going through. And a lot of the time I can read those comments and think, do you know what? All you need to do is just keep speaking out vision. Speak out vision, share vision, just a little bit at a time, because all these issues and misunderstandings generally revolve around the fact that they don't understand why they're on the team. They think it's because they're a musician or because they're a singer, and it's because they don't understand that they're a leader, they're a worship leader, they are carrying God's presence. And when you get vision clear and regularly being sown into your team, then all those issues, they tend to kind of just like work themselves out. And you get other issues coming in, but if your vision is strong and your culture is strong and your expectations are strong, those issues just tend to not be as big anymore. They tend to not be as dominant and as distracting anymore. That's what I found. That's certainly what I've found over the last 7 years.
I love that. So where do you see now? I mean, you've been here at your church for such a long time. where do you see yourself? You said in the past 7 years, where do you see yourself in 7 years from now, 5 years from now?
Wherever God leads us, you know, and we're so blessed here at Family Church. We have great pastors, great leaders, and I'm trusted so much with the worship team. I'm given so much freedom, and you know, it's a church. It has a style, it has a flow, it has a way of doing things that I serve and I want to honor and I want to make happen, and I'll be here for as long as God calls us to be here. You know, I've got friends who have been at their church for much longer, nearly 25, 30 years, and they've just been faithfully serving. And for me, you know, that's I'm happy with that. If God calls us on, God moves us on to somewhere else, brilliant. We'll jump straight into wherever God is taking us. But you know, I'm not gonna jump ahead of the cloud, as it were, and trying to find my own thing. I'm going to be led by the cloud, and if God isn't moving, neither are we.
Yeah, awesome. Now, when you talk about leading, I have to think of, you know, senior pastor. When we talk about being an effective worship leader, we can only be as an effective worship leader as much as what our pastor would be. I mean, do you agree or disagree with that? What's your thought?
Yeah, I mean, everything that we do as worship pastors is submitted and surrendered to the vision and the role and the position of the senior pastor. They're the ones carrying the responsibility for the church. And I like to think of it as the story of Joab. I can't remember where it is. It's in the Old Testament. You can look it up. But it's where he goes out to fight against a city. And he brings this city to its knees, literally, but doesn't take it. He doesn't claim the victory, and he sends a message to David to say, "You come and take the city. You get the victory." And for a worship pastor, I kind of see it as like that. We work hard to serve the vision of the house, but in the end, it's our senior pastors that are got to get the win. It's our senior pastors that because they're the ones carrying the responsibility for the church. And even if that means we get overlooked, even if it means that means we get stepped on or not credited for what we've done, it doesn't matter, because we're serving. You know, Joab served King David because he knew the value of the position of the king of Israel. And he that was so important to him. He knew that his reputation was so not important compared to the reputation of King David. You know, particularly when going up against other nations in war. For Joab, he was serving King David, and he wanted David to have the win. And for us as worship pastors, if we can get that into our thinking, that it's not for us to get the win, it's for our senior pastors to get the win. And if we can serve them and empower them to be great senior pastors, it flows back. You sow that into your senior pastors, they'll sow that back into you, and give you the freedom and the opportunity to be good worship pastors.
That's awesome. So you sound like you have a great relationship with your senior pastor.
Yes. Yeah, we do.
That's awesome. And
yeah, we've known. Sorry.
Is he watching now?
Might be. I know. I think he's at a conference, so he might not know, but he might watch it on catch up. But yeah, we've known each other. In fact, we met our senior pastors a week before my wife and I got married. He was doing a conference in our hometown, and we went along to the meetings. And it's actually during those meetings that I felt God say to me that I was going to be serving him. But it took 10 years for that to happen. But it was, you know, we've had a strong connection for a long time.
You know, there's a saying that stuck with me for years, and I've said this before, that you don't pick your church, you pick your pastor.
Yeah.
And I'm so blessed to be at the church that we're at and to be serving alongside our senior pastor under his leadership. And I feel like all the effective things that I've learned that come from him, that helps me, and like what you're saying, the capacity of serving the church as a whole and that whole community. So as we wrap up, and Matt, it's been so much fun having you on, brother. I mean, there are a lot of people, they love you. They're just typing you out right here on Periscope and Facebook Live. If you got some questions, guys, that you want to ask Matt, please do so on Periscope or Facebook Live. Go ahead and do that. And also by the audio broadcast on the playback, just find the comment window and type in there. Matt, in your mind, can you tell us what does it mean to be an effective worship leader?
It means being a selfless servant. Being selfless and being willing to serve people and to love people and to do whatever it takes to enable them to worship God.
Yeah, excellent. That's awesome. Matt, thanks so much. And guys, we're going to be monitoring the comments because we do have to wrap up. But if you have questions, I know you're probably typing in right now. I don't want to go too quickly. So just to take a little bit more time on what we got, I want to remind you to sign up to watch this coming Thursday show, because if you thought this was good and this was really awesome, thank you so much, Sequoia from Facebook Live, and also Allie, Jason, Terry, what's up from Periscope, a lot of great friends watching. If you think this is good, I mean, we're going to have Matt come back, so this has been fantastic. Matt, it's been a lot of fun with you. But you know, this topic has been so deep for us. This is more of what we're going to share with you this coming Thursday with Chris Denning. Chris Denning is the Planning Center Online guru, but he also is a leadership guru. He's been one of my friends for the past years and just a really fun, fantastic guy. He's going to be here on the show this coming Thursday, but you can only watch that at Worship Team Training University. So I'm putting up that link again to enroll. And if you do that now, you can still get a good rate by joining the program. And if you're following us by Twitter, I've already put out the link so far. That's at Worship TT, and also on Worship Team Training Facebook page. But go to WTTU.co. Again, that's WTTU.co. And check that out, because if you want more content like this, Chris Denning, we also have Rick Muchow coming. We have Zora the drummer coming. We have Carl Albrecht coming back. We also have, quite a lot of people that are already on the roster to come out on these Thursday shows, plus our webinar tomorrow with John Chisholm at 2 o'clock Central Time. So you get webinars, you get Thursday shows, plus these shows, more content. Oh, and also, I forgot to tell you guys, I want to give you a free copy today. Matt, my brand new book that just came out is called The Journey of a Worshiper. And we just finished that actually just this morning. So we're putting that up on the university site. You'll find it on the Worship Team Training site coming soon. And you'll find it on Amazon and everywhere else. But we've had over like 100,000 completions on Bible.com. And so we've taken all those devotionals and just put them into one book. And there are also, if you buy the book, which is really exciting too, there's a companion study. Thanks, Amy. There's a companion study. So you get the book. And if you buy the book, there's also a companion learner's guide study that you can share. And you can have each of your team members get a copy. And you guys can actually do the whole Bible study based on that book. So you get two things, not just one. So we're going to be putting a link up to that. We got the songwriting contest coming up. I mean, there's so many great things that God is doing, and it's all because of you. So thank you, folks, for being with us here at worshipteamtraining.com and also Worship Team Training University. You can find everything there about our workshops and mentoring at worshipteamtraining.com/mentoring or /workshops. And of course, our university program, you can find it at WTTU.co. Sign up because the registrations are going fast and we're getting new members like every day. So it's been great. Matt, thank you so much. Matt, thanks for joining today on the broadcast.
Yeah, can I make a shameless plug?
Please, go right.
You mentioned about your book just coming up. I'm bringing out my first book at the end of next month.
You told me that. Tell us, yeah.
It's so like I was saying, all these the devotions and thoughts that I've been putting in the emails that I've been sending over the last few years, I've collected them together and I'm putting them into a book, and that should be out, I'm hoping, at the end of April. So if you're interested in it, if you go to worshipteam101.com, you can sign up and I'll keep you in touch and you can buy it when it comes out.
You know, and maybe we can also put your book on our site too, if you like that.
Sure, that'd be awesome. That'd be brilliant. I'll send you a copy as well, Brendan. So you can.
Thank you. So we'll just share the wealth. That's what we
Absolutely. Yeah.
So anyway, Matt, thanks again, man. It's been a pleasure.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yes, and guys, thank you too. And we hope to see you back very soon this coming Thursday, again at 11 a.m. Central Time with Chris Denning. Be sure to sign up at WTTU.co. Look at all the links that we just put out so far on Facebook Live and also on Twitter. And also thank you guys for joining us on iTunes and Spreaker. Love you guys, and we'll see you back very soon on the very next Worship Team Training University. See you guys very soon. Love you. Bye.